This dimensional modeling has this philosophy of looking at this world where the entire world is divided into two segments. If you only studied database design in schools, I bet you never came across with this powerful designing concept called dimensional modeling. Now, it is a very well understood and well used concept among veteran database designers and data modelers, but if you are coming from more of a software engineering background or developers background, you may not know about it. But knowing this will help you understand any analytics database and their designs better. Now, in this video, I am going to talk about dimensional modeling from a very basic conceptual standpoint. I'm going to create some other videos in future where I will go deeper into the dimensional modeling or various aspects of dimensional modeling. But if you are someone who is just learning these concepts, or maybe you have heard about dimensional modeling first time, then this is the video for you, because we are gonna go into the basic concepts of dimensional modeling first before we go into the details of it. So come along in this journey with me. Now, understanding dimensional modeling is actually quite easy if we do not get bothered about terminologies and jargons at the very beginning. So let me present you dimensional modeling from a very simplistic perspective. When we do a database design, what we actually do is we try to capture the state of the world in our databases, right? In dimensional modeling, we assume that the world that we see out there, which we want to model in our database, that world is essentially divided into two parts: dimensions and facts. Facts are anything that keeps on changing in this world. Let's say price of a product. The price keeps on changing in this world. And dimensions are anything which gives a context to these changing facts. So for example, if I say that the price changed from $5 to $10, that doesn't mean much. But if I say the price of this product changed from $5 to $10 between, say, 1st January to 1st August, then you get a better picture. So notice how mentioning about the time and the product have given two context to the change of the price. Basically, it has answered the when question and what question. What changed? The price of the product changed. When did that change happen? Well, the change happened between January and August. So saying just the price has increased doesn't say much, but if we bring in the context, then we can understand what has actually happened. Now notice in this example, there are two types of concepts over here. One is a changing quantity, which is the price in this case, and the other is the thing which gives the changes a meaning, a context, which is the timeline and the particular product in this case. The first thing, whatever is the changing quantity, that is called fact in the parlance of dimensional modeling, and whatever gives that change a context, that is called a dimension. So in this case, the product is a dimension and time is another dimension, because they together give the context to this particular change. So as I said earlier, this dimensional modeling has this philosophy of looking at this world where the entire world is divided into two segments. One is the changing things, which are called facts, and the second thing are the context of these changes, which are called dimensions. Now, when a data modeler uses dimensional modeling in order to model some physical phenomenon out there in the world, in their database structure also, they basically create two types of tables. The first type of table is called the fact tables, and the second type of table is called the dimension tables. So now let's see this example on screen. As you can see in the screen, I have tried to create a data model using the dimensional modeling technique, where I have captured the change of price from one date to another date for a particular product. In order to do that, I have created two different dimension tables. The first dimension table on the upper left corner is a time dimension table. The time dimension table has all the information about the time. So any date, for example 1st January 2020, will be represented by one single record in that time dimension table. Similarly, the other date, let's say 1st August 2020, will be represented by another record on that table. In the product dimension table, each record represents the state of the product. So if there are 5 different attributes of this product that we want to capture. We will capture all those attributes of this product in this product dimension table. Now coming to this most interesting table on the right hand side, which I am calling the sales fact table. A fact is anything that has actually happened in real world out there, which is measurable or quantifiable. So if I sell a particular product on 1st January, that sale itself is a fact. If I sell the same product again on 1st August, that sale event is another fact in our fact table. So just in case it was not very clear the first time, let me just repeat this once again. A fact is anything that is quantifiable or measurable that happens out there in the real world. A dimension is something that gives some context to this fact. So for example, if I just say that I sold a good for $20, it doesn't say much. For example, what did I sell? Whom did I sell it to? Or when did I sell it? So selling something on $20 is a fact. Now if I were to capture this information in some database using a dimensional data modeling technique, what I will do is I will divide this information into basically 2 categories of information, the facts and the dimensions. So I will create 3 different dimension tables, one representing the product, another representing the time, another representing the customer, and then I will create a fact table which will basically represent the facts of the business, which in this case is selling of the goods like products on particular time to a particular customer. It will look something like this in the screen. It is customary to draw the facts and dimension tables in this way, where we draw the fact table in the center and put the dimension tables around them. Now in this case, the first dimension table that you are looking at is the product dimension table on your left hand side, and then we have a time dimension table and a customer dimension table. The product dimension table basically represents the product. So if my particular product has 10 different attributes, I will put all those attributes in the product dimension table. Now the time dimension table basically represents a single point in time. Now that point in time can be measured in seconds or minutes or hours or days or anything that depends on your business requirement, but each record of the time dimension table will represent a particular point in time. Now moving on to the customer table, this table, as you can guess, will basically hold all the information about the customers. Again, if the customer has 10 different information, for example, I want to store the customer address, the customer telephone number, etc., I will put all those information in the customer dimension table. So as you can see from the picture, the product, the time, the customer, all these dimensions give some context or meaning to the fact that we have recorded in the sales fact table. This example illustrates the concept of modeling a real-life scenario using dimensional modeling technique. One thing you must notice over here is that each of these dimensions are related to each other via the fact table. The primary key from the dimension tables are flowing into the fact table as foreign keys, and the fact of the fact table or the measure or quantity of the fact table is actually captured with respect to the foreign keys that are coming from the dimension tables. However, this is a very simple example. If you delve deeper into dimensional modeling, you will realize that you need to know some other concepts to successfully model any real-life scenario through dimensional modeling. For example, in real life, there are attributes in the dimensional tables that can undergo changes as well. For example, a customer can change his or her address from one address to another address. The prices of the product may change, the category of the product may change. Similarly, there can be fact tables which actually doesn't have any particular fact in it. We call them the factless fact table, and the primary purpose of those tables is to basically store the relationship between multiple dimension tables. Anyway, those things are not part of this particular video, but as I promised, I will create other videos to get into the deeper of those concepts. However, if you are new to dimensional modeling, this should make you enough interested, and this particular video should suffice as your first starting point in exploring more about dimensional modeling. I hope the video was interesting. Thank you very much.